In other news, we're talking about some movie stuff. Shazam, Fury of the Gods director David F. Sandberg took to Twitter to talk about the criticism of the film, saying that he was surprised by it. He said on Rotten Tomatoes, I just got my lowest critic score and my highest audience score on the same film. I wasn't expecting a repeat of the first movie critically, but I was still a little surprised because I think it's a good film. Oh well. As I've been saying for a while now, I'm very eager to go back to horror as well as trying some new things. After 6 years of Shazam, I'm definitely done with the superheroes for now. And he doesn't regret his experiences there, but Rachel Zegler, who is in the movie, you might know as Maria from West Side Story, she also said she said, hey, our film was actually really good, but mostly I just absolutely loved making it and the people I met whilst doing it. So go see it, give it a chance. We have an 85% audience score for a reason. It's fun to hate on things. That's what she said. It makes me kind of sad that critics' scores are impacting the way people not only view films, but also the people who make them. They don't, maybe that the audience really doesn't like the film or something like that because of the scores on it. Because it seems like the audience score is high, but the critic score isn't. And people are talking about the box office and stuff, and it's like, yes, they didn't make their budget back yet, but also it wasn't a complete flop. I think it was only 5 million off of what it was projected to be grossing. So yeah, it's really tough to make movies in this environment where the response is so immediate. And I think Ethan Hawke said this. I think we talked about this on the podcast that oftentimes you really need to see a movie more than once to form a real opinion about it. And that doesn't seem to be happening at all. And a movie can just be completely trashed before it even comes out based on Rotten Tomato scores and stuff.
I find it weird. I don't because of a podcast, some people might say, oh, we're critics. I don't think we are critics. I think we're fans of movies because even in talking about the bad movies, we find good things we like about it. It's really hard. There's only 2 times I think both of us have said that this movie is really, really bad. But I do think heavily weighing the critiques of a movie just based on the critic score and not the audience score is really bad. But I also think this goes back to a lot of these critics are kind of superhero movie done because at the time right now they're all repeating the same thing. But I do think this is a blowback effect of the negativity and the lack of engagement and how bad Black Adam was with The Rock. That this movie has suffered the wrath due to that. Because now after, those issues and all the issues DC and Warner Bros. Have had, I think a lot of those critiques stem from those. They're not people who've actually watched the movie in its entirety. They're going and piggybacking off of bullet points or what they expect from the movie based of all these stuff. I find it funny that 3 movies got screen tests at the same time for DC and Warner Brothers. Shazam 2, Black Adam, and Batgirl. So they all got the same audience response in these screen tests. The one movie that did not have a substantial budget was Batgirl. That's the one that they put on the back burner and shelved. They said we're going to eat the loss on Batgirl, and they pushed out Black Adam and Shazam 2 because they had to. They put too much money into production, so they needed to zero out the costs, which I understand. But now looking at it, I'm thinking they should have just ate the loss. And if say Batgirl cost them $80 million to make, if it made the numbers that Black Adam and Shazam made, it would have. And knowing the thought and effort that came behind it, and knowing that it was not evolved in a trilogy, it was like a one-off experience, which we saw with the Batman, how amazing that was because it was set in its own world. With Suicide Squad before it, in a way, and the Suicide Squad reboot, the success of Peacemaker on HBO Max. I think had they released Batgirl would have probably did amazing numbers, and it probably would have ate the loss they would have got from both Black Adam and Shazam. So I do think it was a bad financial decision for the powers that be at Warner Brothers and DC.
Many in a series of bad decisions that they've been making over there, but
yeah.
Yeah, I thought the first Shazam was cute. Like, it was a cute little movie. Doing these type of movies, like you said, in this climate where there seems to be an aversion to these kinds of movies, because, and I don't know how true that is, because it seemed like Ant-Man definitely like took a dip after its opening weekend, but it did make a lot of money when it first came out. So like, I'm not sure if what we're saying is matching with our wallets are showing, because the numbers are kind of showing that like people are still going to see these films. I'm glad that the director's at least saying, you know what, I'm gonna do something different. Because I just don't know if the climate is very generous for superhero movies at this moment, you know.
Did you like that clip? Well, you can listen to the entire podcast because the 16mm Film Crew podcast is available on all major podcast platforms.